Shalom and welcome to the weekend edition of the Daily Dose of Hebrew. We're looking today at Jeremiah chapter 4, verse 30, just about at the end of the chapter. We've been looking at the context of the Lord sending his chastening hand against his people to break their stubbornness and to bring them back to him. And here in this verse, we're going to see a remarkable contrast with the inability or refusal of the people to understand how serious their situation was and getting things right with God. Let's go ahead and read the text in Hebrew as we get started. It's a little long one here today. Va'ati shadud ma ta'asi ki tilbeshi shani ki ta'adi adi zahav ki tikra'i Vapuk inaik lashav tityapi ma'asuvak ogevim nafshek yevakeshu. Wow, said it was a long one, and it is. Va'ati, well, we start with and you, this is a personal pronoun, and this is the 2FS personal pronoun. Now, we have a Ketiv Kirei reading. If you have a look at the Kirei reading in your text, if you have that, you probably have the more typical form of the 2FS, which is simply at, like that. But we do find this old form. This is an older form of the 2FS personal pronoun, meaning you, use feminine singular. So it does exist. So I don't think we need to necessarily go with the Kirei reading. We can keep the Ketiv as it's there. And you, shadud. Well, what do we have here? Well, this is going to be a participle, and with this shurek you see here between the second and third consonant, it's a passive, and it's a masculine singular passive participle, and it's a kal from the verb shadad. You can see the 3 consonants there. And shadad means to destroy, so in the passive it would mean to be destroyed, to be devastated. Now what's a little bit anomalous here is it's a masculine, and we would expect to find a feminine. Everything else in this verse is going to be referring to the city of Jerusalem and its surroundings as feminine, and even the personal pronoun is a feminine personal pronoun. So why don't we have shaduda here with the comments hey at the end? We don't know, but we do have this form here. Sometimes the masculine can englobe the feminine. We tend to see that, but there's really not a really good reason why we don't have the feminine form here. But this does seem to be directed rest. And you, O devastated one, what will you do, or what are you doing? You may actually take this more in a present tense. So what do we have here? And you're going to see this all through this verse, actually, with this tau at the beginning and e at the end. We're going to have a whole series of imperfects. They're going to be a 2FS. This one here is a kal. Kal, there we go, from the verb asa, meaning to make or to do, with the hay dropping off. We're used to seeing that. So what will you do? So the author is expressing this astonishment, because what are the people doing? For you dress yourself. Now here we again, same thing. It's an imperfect 2FS kal, this time from the verb labash, which means to dress oneself up. And then with shani, which means in scarlet. In other words, fancy, luxurious clothes. Well, what's going on? Well, we'll keep reading and we'll see if we can figure it out. For you decorate yourself. Again, same thing that's going on here with it. It's going to be an imperfect 2FS kal, this time from the verb ada, which means to decorate. So to decorate oneself. You decorate yourself, and implying with the object here with decorations or ornaments of gold. This is in the construct state with zahav, which means gold. You can see this noun here of decoration comes from the verb to decorate. So you can see how very similar they are with a cognate noun. You decorate yourself with ornaments of gold. And what else do you do? For you, well, again, tau at the beginning, here a gilud at the end, so it's an imperfect 2FS, a kal, from this time from the verb kara. Now, if you're used to seeing this verb, usually we see it with to tear apart, like he tore his clothing, he tore his cloak. Well, that's the word that's used here. You tear apart. What do you tear apart? Well, you tear apart your eyes. There's your feminine singular suffix, 2fs suffix on the dual for eyes. But tearing them apart in what sense? Well, here it's a metaphorical sense. You make them wide. You make them bigger. You make them bigger with puk. And puk is a noun which means, well, we might translate it as mascara. It actually means antimony, which was sort of a black powder that the women would use as makeup. So you make your eyes bigger. You've torn them apart with mascara, with antimony powder, black powder. In other words, they're making themselves beautiful, fancy clothes and ornaments and makeup. This is a way of referring to how Judah tried to appeal to other allies, perhaps to Egypt and other nations, to defend themselves rather than putting their trust in God. This has really developed a lot in the prophet Ezekiel, but Jeremiah uses this imagery as well. What a foolish thing to do, to turn elsewhere and try to attract other helpers rather than putting one's trust in God in all humility. And the prophet goes on to say, it's in vain. In vain, the shwa, this word here, which means vanity. That's where we actually get the word for this little vowel right here, which is a schwa, because it's a nothing vowel. So for nothing, what's this one? Well, it's actually pretty close to what we have here. It's an imperfect. It's got a tau at the beginning, actually a teat at the beginning with a hirik yod. It's an imperfect 2fs, but it's not a kal this time. It's going to be a hithpael. It's a hithpael from the verb yafa. And yafa, but in the kal, means to be beautiful. In the hithpael would mean to make oneself beautiful. So in vain, you're making yourself beautiful. In vain, you're trying to make yourself more attractive to your allies, or at least your former allies, in order to get help. It's not going to work. Why not? Well, because they have despised you or rejected you. Ma'as, this is a perfect. And it's a third common plural. It's kal from ma'as, which means to reject, to despise. It takes its direct object with beth instead of ate. And here's your suffix again, your 2fs suffix. They have rejected you. Who has rejected you? Well, here's who they are. Your lovers. This is ogav. This is a participle, masculine plural participle. It's kal from agav, which means to desire, but to sensually desire, to seek after, to desire. So your lovers is a good word, but not in a good sense. Your paramours, I think, is another paraphrase or another translation for it. Your paramours have rejected you. Nafshek, your soul, they have sought, or they will seek. This is actually an imperfect. You have a yod here and an u at the end, so this is an imperfect. It's going to be a 3MP. This is a PL. If you're used to seeing that, you have your shwa, your pathak, and your dagesh over here from the verb bakash. Bikesh, which means to seek after. So they're seeking after your soul, but not in a good way. This probably means they're seeking after your very life. They're not seeking to do you good. They've rejected you. They're seeking your life. They're going to take advantage of your situation, those in whom you trusted previously. They're not going to be able to help you. So it's a foolish thing. It's something that's done in vanity. So, wow, quite a heavy verse here. Well, let's go ahead and hide our work here and look real quickly at just a couple of translations. First of all, a very literal translation in the New American Standard. And you, O desolate one, what will you do? Although, so they're translating that key here as although, it could be any expression of astonishment actually. Although you dress in scarlet, although you decorate yourself with ornaments of gold, you decorate yourself with decorations of gold, although you enlarge for tear apart your eyes with paint, for antinomy here, in vain you make yourself beautiful. Your lovers despise you. They have rejected you. Your paramours, they seek your life. They're not going to do you any good. Don't put your trust in them. What a foolish thing to do. And then in the New Living Translation, which is, of course, much more of a paraphrase, but they do a pretty good job here. What are you doing, you who have been plundered? You, O devastated one, you who have been plundered. Why do you dress up in beautiful clothing? Over here with scarlet, and put on gold jewelry. Why do you brighten your eyes with mascara? You tear apart your eyes with mascara. You're primping. You're making yourself beautiful. is for vanity. Your primping, I thought that was quite good there, will do you no good. The allies who were your lovers, that's actually very good for this concept right here. Your paramours, the allies who were your lovers, they now despise you and they seek to kill you. We can't put any trust in those who are not on the Lord's side. Our hope is only in Him, in what He's doing with His people. So, quite a statement that the prophet makes to try and bring the people back to understand their real situation before God. There's one verse left in this chapter 4, so check back with us soon in our weekend edition of the Daily Dose of Hebrew. Shalom.